Heartland is standing at the edge of its biggest change ever, and Season 20 is about to test everything this show has spent 2 decades building. The first look at Season 20 doesn't feel like a celebration. It feels like a warning. A warning that the Heartland Ranch may no longer be the center of Amy's life, that familiar bonds are about to be stretched past their limit, and that one decision could quietly end an era. The trailer doesn't shout its intentions. Instead, it whispers them. And somehow, that makes everything feel even more unsettling. Heartland Season 20 opens with a feeling that's impossible to ignore. There's no explosive drama right away, no big speeches, no obvious villain stepping into the frame. Instead, there's distance. Emotional distance. Physical distance. The kind of distance that slowly grows when life starts pulling people in different directions, whether they're ready or not. From the very first moments of the trailer, it becomes clear that Amy is standing at a crossroads she never truly had to face before. For years, Heartland Ranch wasn't just her home. It was her identity. It was where she healed horses, healed people, and healed herself. But now, the trailer suggests that staying might be just as painful as leaving. What makes this first look so powerful is how restrained it is. Amy doesn't announce her struggle out loud. She doesn't need to. You can see it in her expressions, in the pauses between conversations, in the way she seems to linger just a little longer than usual. It feels like she's already halfway gone, even if she hasn't admitted it yet. The proposal from Nathan hangs over everything like unfinished business. Season 19 ended without an answer, and Season 20 wastes no time reminding us that silence can be louder than words. Amy isn't just choosing between two men or two places. She's choosing between the life she's always known and the life she might be brave enough to want. Meanwhile, Heartland itself feels different. The ranch, which has always been a place of comfort and stability, now feels uncertain, almost fragile. Jack, Lou, and the rest of the family sense the shift, even if they don't fully understand it yet. There's a quiet tension in how they interact with Amy, as if everyone knows a storm is coming, but no one wants to say it out loud. Jack carries the weight of legacy heavier than ever before. This ranch has survived loss, betrayal, and change, but the idea of Amy leaving hits differently. It's not just about losing a family member, it's about losing the heart of Heartland itself. Lou, as always, stands caught between logic and emotion. She understands that people grow and lives change, but understanding doesn't make acceptance any easier. The trailer hints at Lou stepping into a more protective role, not just over the ranch, but over what the family represents. There's a sense that she may soon be forced to make choices she's been avoiding for years, especially if Amy's future no longer includes the ranch. And then there's Lindy, whose presence quietly raises the stakes of every decision. Amy isn't just thinking about herself anymore. Every possible future affects her daughter, and that responsibility weighs heavily on her. What truly makes this first look unsettling is how calm everything seems on the surface. There's no chaos yet, no dramatic fallout, just the slow realization that once a decision is made, there may be no way to undo it. Season 20 isn't setting up a simple storyline about romance or relocation. It's setting up an emotional reckoning. A season where love, loyalty, and identity are all put under pressure. And as the trailer fades, one thing becomes painfully clear. Heartland isn't asking whether Amy can leave. It's asking whether Heartland can survive if she does. As the Heartland Season 20 trailer continues to unfold, the focus slowly shifts from the question of whether Amy will leave to the consequences of what that choice would actually mean. This is where the first look becomes truly heavy. Because once the idea of leaving Heartland is planted, it starts to affect everyone, even in moments where no one is directly talking about it. Amy's uncertainty doesn't stay contained within her own world. It leaks into conversations, into routines, into the quiet spaces where Heartland has always felt safest. And that's what makes this season feel different from the very start. Nathan's presence looms larger in this first look, but not in a flashy or dramatic way. He isn't pushing Amy. He isn't demanding answers. Instead, he waits, and that waiting carries its own tension. The trailer suggests that Nathan genuinely believes in the future he's offering, not just for himself, but for Amy and Lindy as a family. Buying a new ranch, starting fresh, stepping away from old wounds. On paper, it sounds like everything Amy deserves. And yet, the trailer makes it painfully clear that what looks like freedom to one person can feel like loss to another. Nathan represents possibility, but he also represents distance from everything Amy has fought to protect for years. What makes this dynamic so compelling is that Nathan isn't portrayed as an obstacle or a villain. If anything, he feels like the calm eye of the storm. He's steady, patient, and confident in a way that contrasts sharply with Amy's inner turmoil. The trailer hints that he understands the weight of Heartland, even if he can't fully feel it the way Amy does. And that difference matters, because love alone may not be enough to bridge a gap built from history, grief, and identity. Season 20 seems ready to explore that uncomfortable truth without rushing to easy answers. At the same time, the trailer subtly reminds us that Heartland Ranch itself is facing change. With Amy potentially stepping away, the responsibilities she once carried don't just disappear. Someone has to step in. Someone has to fill the space she leaves behind, emotionally and practically. The first look drops quiet hints that this transition won't be smooth. Horses still need healing, people still need guidance, and the ranch still needs a center. The absence of Amy, even theoretical, already feels like a wound that hasn't fully opened yet. Jack's role in this season appears more reflective than ever. The trailer paints him as a man watching history repeat itself, knowing that he can't stop it. He's seen loved ones leave before. He understands that holding on too tightly can sometimes push people away faster. But that understanding doesn't erase the pain. There's a sense that Jack knows Season 20 might be the last chapter of Heartland as he's known it, and that realization quietly hangs over every scene he's part of. He isn't preparing for loss. He's preparing for change, which somehow feels even harder. Lou, on the other hand, seems poised to face the future head-on, whether she's ready or not. The trailer hints that she may be forced into a leadership role that goes beyond business decisions. If Amy leaves, Lou becomes the anchor by default. The emotional glue holding the family together while also navigating her own doubts and fears. And unlike Amy, Lou doesn't have the luxury of stepping away. Her choices will directly shape what Heartland becomes next, and the weight of that responsibility is written all over her. By the time this section of the trailer settles, the message becomes unmistakable. Season 20 isn't about dramatic twists or shocking betrayals. It's about slow, painful evolution. About the realization that love doesn't always mean staying, and staying doesn't always mean growing. Every character is standing on uncertain ground, even if they haven't admitted it yet. And the scariest part is that once Amy finally makes her choice, there may be no version of Heartland that looks the same again. By the time the Heartland Season 21st look reaches its midpoint, the emotional tension stops simmering and starts pressing down on everyone involved. What makes this season feel heavier than anything before is that the conflict isn't loud. No one is arguing. No one is issuing ultimatums. Instead, the trailer shows people avoiding the truth because saying it out loud would make it real. And that quiet avoidance creates a pressure that feels almost unbearable. You can sense that the characters are running out of time, even if no one has started a countdown yet. Amy's struggle becomes more internal than ever. The trailer paints her as someone torn between gratitude and guilt. Gratitude for the life she's built at Heartland and the people who shaped her, and guilt for even considering a future that takes her away from them. Every look she gives the ranch feels like a goodbye she isn't ready to admit. And the hardest part is that Amy knows staying out of obligation would slowly turn her love for Heartland into resentment. Season 20 seems ready to explore that uncomfortable reality, showing that sometimes loyalty can become a cage if it's never questioned. Lindy's presence quietly intensifies everything. The trailer never turns her into a bargaining chip, but it makes it clear that Amy's decisions will shape Lindy's entire world. Staying at Heartland means stability, familiarity, and family. Leaving means possibility, growth, and risk. And neither option is painted as wrong. That's what makes this choice so devastating. Amy isn't choosing between good and bad. She's choosing between two versions of love, both of which demand sacrifice. Season 20 understands that kind of decision doesn't come with relief. It comes with grief, no matter what path is taken. Nathan, meanwhile, appears increasingly aware that patience alone won't protect him from disappointment. The trailer hints at moments where his calm begins to crack, not in anger but in vulnerability. He's offering everything he can, yet he knows he can't compete with a place that raised Amy. There's a growing sense that Nathan isn't afraid of rejection as much as he's afraid of being the reason Amy loses something she can never get back. That awareness gives his character a depth that feels earned, and it raises the emotional stakes without turning him into an antagonist. The wider Heartland family begins to feel the strain as well. Conversations feel shorter. Smiles don't quite reach people's eyes. Even moments of warmth carry an undercurrent of uncertainty. The trailer suggests that everyone knows Season 20 will change the family dynamic forever, even if they don't know how yet. Jack's silence grows heavier. Lou's determination feels more desperate. And the ranch itself feels like it's holding its breath, waiting for the moment everything shifts. What truly elevates this section of the first look is how it reframes the idea of endings. Season 20 doesn't treat change as something sudden or dramatic. It treats it as something that slowly erodes certainty. The kind of ending that doesn't arrive with a single moment, but with a series of small realizations that add up to something irreversible. And as the trailer continues, it becomes impossible to shake the feeling that Heartland isn't just approaching a new season. It's approaching a turning point that will redefine what the show has always been about. As the Heartland Season 20 trailer moves deeper into its first look, the emotional weight shifts from uncertainty to inevitability. This is the point where it starts to feel like whatever choice Amy makes, something precious will be left behind. The trailer no longer asks if change is coming. It quietly accepts that it already has. And that acceptance is what makes this season feel more mature, more reflective, and more intense than anything Heartland has done before. The ranch itself begins to feel less like a safe haven and more like a place frozen in time. The familiar routines, the open fields, the steady rhythm of life at Heartland all feel slightly off, as if they belong to a version of the past that can't fully exist anymore. The trailer suggests that holding on too tightly to what Heartland used to be may actually prevent it from becoming what it needs to be next. That idea alone represents a massive shift in the show's philosophy. For years, Heartland was about healing by staying rooted. Season 20 dares to ask whether healing sometimes requires letting go. Amy's emotional journey reaches a quieter but more painful stage here. She's no longer wrestling with confusion. She understands the stakes. What she's wrestling with now is courage. The courage to disappoint people she loves. The courage to step into a future without guarantees. The trailer shows her standing between past and future, not rushing toward either one. And that hesitation feels real. It feels human. This isn't a dramatic countdown to a decision. It's a slow, aching pause before a life-altering step. Lou's role becomes sharper in this section, hinting that she may be preparing to protect Heartland in ways Amy no longer can. There's an unspoken understanding between the sisters that something is changing, even if they don't talk about it directly. Lou's strength feels less like confidence and more like necessity. If Amy leaves, Lou won't just be running the ranch, she'll be guarding its spirit. And that responsibility weighs heavily on her, even as she tries to project control. Jack's presence continues to ground the story emotionally. The trailer paints him as the keeper of Heartland's memory, the one who understands that legacy isn't about preventing change, but about surviving it. His quiet moments suggest a man preparing himself for an emotional goodbye without knowing exactly when it will come. And perhaps the most heartbreaking part is that Jack seems to accept Amy's potential departure before anyone else does. Not because it hurts less, but because he knows love doesn't mean holding someone back. By the time this part of the trailer settles, Season 20 feels less like a continuation and more like a conclusion in the making. Not necessarily the end of Heartland, but the end of Heartland as we've always known it. The emotional groundwork is being laid carefully, patiently, and with intention. And the longer it goes without answers, the clearer it becomes that the final choice won't bring closure. It will bring transformation. As the Heartland Season 20 trailer reaches its final moments, everything feels suspended in time. No answers are given, no promises are made, and that silence is exactly what makes this first look so powerful. After building an entire season around uncertainty, the trailer leaves us standing in the same place as the characters, waiting for a decision that will change everything. It's a bold choice, and it works, because Heartland has never been about shocking twists. It's always been about emotional truth. What becomes clear by the end of this first look is that Season 20 is not just another chapter. It feels like a farewell to an era. Amy's journey, which began as a story about a girl healing horses, has grown into a story about a woman learning how to choose herself without losing the people she loves. Whether she stays or leaves, the Amy we see in Season 20 is different. She's stronger, more self-aware, and painfully aware that some decisions can't be undone. And that awareness gives this season a gravity that's impossible to ignore. The trailer also subtly prepares us for a shift in focus. Heartland has always been about family across generations, and Season 20 seems ready to pass the torch. Lou, Katie, and even the next generation are positioned as the future, while Amy's story approaches a natural, emotional turning point. This isn't about replacing her, it's about honoring everything she's built while allowing the world of Heartland to continue evolving. Change isn't framed as loss here, it's framed as growth that comes at a cost. Nathan's role by the end of the trailer feels quietly unresolved. He remains hopeful, but realistic. He understands that love doesn't always come with certainty, and the future he's offering Amy is still waiting, still open, but not guaranteed. That unresolved tension keeps the emotional door wide open for Season 20, ensuring that whatever answer Amy gives will feel earned, not rushed. His presence reminds us that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is wait without knowing the outcome. As the trailer fades out, one feeling lingers above all others: respect. Respect for the characters, for the history of the show, and for the audience that has grown alongside it for 2 decades. Heartland Season 20 doesn't promise comfort, it promises honesty. It promises a story that understands how hard it is to let go and how necessary it can be to move forward anyway. And that's why this first look works so well. It doesn't tell us what's going to happen. It makes us feel what's coming. A season defined not by dramatic chaos, but by quiet, life-altering choices. Whatever Amy decides, Heartland will never be the same again. Heartland is standing at the edge of its biggest change ever, and Season 20 is about to test everything this show has spent 2 decades building. The first look at Season 20 doesn't feel like a celebration. It feels like a warning. A warning that the Heartland Ranch may no longer be the center of Amy's life, that familiar bonds are about to be stretched past their limit, and that one decision could quietly end an era. The trailer doesn't shout its intentions. Instead, it whispers them. And somehow, that makes everything feel even more unsettling. Heartland Season 20 opens with a feeling that's impossible to ignore. There's no explosive drama right away, no big speeches, no obvious villain stepping into the frame. Instead, there's distance. Emotional distance. Physical distance. The kind of distance that slowly grows when life starts pulling people in different directions, whether they're ready or not. From the very first moments of the trailer, it becomes clear that Amy is standing at a crossroads she never truly had to face before. For years, Heartland Ranch wasn't just her home. It was her identity. It was where she healed horses, healed people, and healed herself. But now, the trailer suggests that staying might be just as painful as leaving.